Hey mamas, it's your girl Carrie, and welcome back to another episode of Mom Life Career Life, your place to slow down, breathe deep, and remember that you are doing so much better than you think. Let's talk about something that most of us wrestle with more often than we really like to admit: worry. That spinning, restless feeling that keeps you awake at night, running through every what if or worst case scenario. That low key anxiety that bubbles up when you're trying to enjoy time with your kids, do your job, or simply just exist. If you've ever found yourself worrying about things that haven't ever happened yet or things that might never happen, this episode is totally for you because I get it. Worry feels productive. It feels like maybe if you worry enough, you'll somehow prevent something bad. But what if that worry is stealing your peace, your joy, and your presence? And if that's you lately, feeling pulled in a million different directions, constantly racing the clock, trying to be everything to everyone, I want you to know that you don't have to figure it all out alone. I had to take a break on coaching for a little bit, but I started to open up some one-on-one coaching spots for those busy, overwhelmed moms who are ready to take back your time, set better boundaries, and really finally create space for what matters most. And this isn't about planners and schedules. It's about helping you breathe again, helping you feel like you again. If you've been needing some personalized support and accountability, the link to apply is in the show notes. I'd be so honored to walk alongside you. Now, back to today's episode, because today we're going to walk through how to stop the cycle of worry and how to gently quiet that anxiety so you can live more fully in the moment. So let's jump in. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first, because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Let's start by naming it. Worry is future-focused anxiety. It's your brain's way of trying to protect you by predicting danger, but most of what we worry about never actually happens. And I totally get it, and I've been there recently. I haven't shared this in detail yet, but over the past few weeks, I've been walking through something that completely shook me. One morning, I was walking Russ to work and suddenly felt like something was seriously wrong. It was something that hit me. It only lasted a few seconds. Russ was like, "You're okay, just walk home." I went home and it happened again, and then happened again. And Russ was gone. My mom was gone. The girls had to be at school at different times for testing. I had just gotten Michael up. He was in the shower. And in the middle of all of our morning chaos, I genuinely felt like I was having a stroke. My body didn't feel right. My thoughts were scattered. Something felt completely off. And I told the kids as calmly as I could that I had to go to the hospital. I reassured them that everything was okay, but they needed to figure out how to get to school. I ordered myself an Uber. I told Russ I was heading to the hospital, and I went straight to the ER. It wasn't a stroke, thank God. They told me that it looked like complex migraines that mimicked stroke-like symptoms. I've had migraines my entire adult life and had never heard of complex migraines before, but they told me to follow up with a neurologist. And within the 2 weeks between the ER and visiting a neurologist, I had a few more of those episodes. It was really scary. I was trying to function like normal, do the mom thing, the work thing. But inside, I was a complete mess. By some miracle, there was a cancellation with the neurologist. I was supposed to wait over a month to see her, but I got in with her a lot sooner. And she said it could be a type of seizure and ordered an MRI and an EEG. And let me tell you, the MRI, it was 25 minutes of lying perfectly still with a cage over my head. And the EEG was wires strapped all over my scalp and a camera monitoring me for 24/7 for 3 days straight to capture any possible episodes. It was uncomfortable. It was intense. And it was seriously emotionally draining. And then I made the classic mistake. I Googled. Why do we do this to ourselves? I don't know. But I looked up what all these tests could possibly be looking for. And what did I see on the list? I saw brain tumors. And my mind completely spiraled. I went to a very dark place. And for 2 weeks, I lived in that space of what if? What if I had a brain tumor? What if it was inoperable? What if I didn't have as much time as I thought? What if I never saw Ashley graduate or my kids grow up and start families? And what if I never got to hold my grandbabies? What if I became a burden instead of a mom who holds it all together? That fear was so heavy. And the tears came often and quietly. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. And when the doctor finally called and said, your scans are clear, I broke down right there, ugly cried, breath stealing relief. I'm still waiting on the results of the EEG. I saw online that it looks like everything's okay, and I will have a couple of follow-up appointments, so possibly more to come on that, but all the things that could have been dangerous have been ruled out. And now look, I know that this is an extreme example, but here's the thing. Worry doesn't need a major medical scare to show up and take over. As moms, we worry about everything, big things, little things, stuff that has happened and probably will never happen. We carry it on our shoulders, inside our sleep, in the back of our minds all day long. That's why I want to talk about this today, to share this story, and not for sympathy, but to remind you that you're not alone and that it is possible to loosen worry's grip and create more peace, even in the middle of uncertainty. Because here's the thing, worry will always come knocking, but you get to decide if it passes through or if it gets to move in, unpack its bags, and redecorate your mental space. It starts early, doesn't it? When they're babies, you're waking up at 2 a.m. Googling why they haven't rolled over yet, or stressing that your friend's kid is walking while yours is still mastering the art of sitting. Then it comes to the preschool years. Are they talking enough, sharing enough, eating enough vegetables that aren't shaped like dinosaurs? And as they grow, so does the worry. How are they doing in school? Are they making friends? Are they sitting alone at the lunch table? Middle school lunch tables nearly took me out. No one warned you about that emotional roller coaster. So if your kids haven't been in middle school yet, brace yourselves because lunch is not fun. And then it comes to high school. Hello, hormones, mood swings, and the emotional whiplash of raising tiny humans that are trying to act like full-grown adults because they suddenly know everything. And then one bad grade feels like it might derail their entire future. And then the college pressure, the social stress, the mental health, driving, dating. It's a full-time job managing all the what ifs. And that's just scratching the surface, because if there's one thing we know how to do well as moms, it's worry. But that doesn't mean we have to live there. So let's talk about it. Let's unpack the ways we can start taking back our peace, one breath, one thought, and one moment at a time. And we're starting with number one. Bring yourself back to the present. Worry thrives in the future. It lives in the lands of what if. What if something goes wrong? What if I'm not enough? What if everything falls apart? It's absolutely exhausting living in that mental loop. But the fastest way to break the cycle is bring yourself back to right now. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause for a moment and gently ask yourself, what is true in this exact moment? Are my kids okay right now? Is my body safe right now? Am I breathing? Is the world still turning? I know, silly questions, but your mind goes crazy. This is what you need to do to bring it back. Ground yourself in what is, not what might be, because right now is the only moment that you can actually do anything about. Number two, use the 3-3-3 rule. When you feel worry, and let's just call it what it is, anxiety, when you feel it creeping in, pause and do this. Close your eyes, take a long, slow breath in, and exhale it out. Feel your feet on the floor, put your hand on your heart or your belly, and feel your body breathing. You're here, you're safe, you're doing your best. And then you're going to open your eyes and you're going to name 3 things you see, 3 things you hear, and then move 3 parts of your body. It's a quick, powerful tool that's going to just bring you back to the now. And this is more than just a mindfulness. It's interrupting the anxiety loop with truth and with presence. Number 3, journal your fears and then challenge them. There's something so powerful about taking that swirling storm of thoughts in your head and putting them on paper. When your worries stay in your mind, they're gonna echo and they grow louder, they multiply. But when you write them down, you take away some of their power. You give yourself space to see them clearly and question if they're even true. So here's your invitation. The next time worry starts taking over, pause, grab a journal, and just write it out. Not just I'm worried, but exactly what you're worried about. Go there, be honest, and then ask yourself these 3 questions. Is this likely to happen? Is this a real possibility? Or is it a worst case scenario, like my non-existent brain tumor? Number two, what's actually in my control? Not everything needs your energy. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today to feel more grounded or supported? And what can I just lovingly release knowing it's not mine to fix? And last, what would I say to a friend who wrote this? Imagine your best friend handed you the same list of fears. Would you say, yep, panic away? Or would you hug her and remind her that she's doing her best or help her find some calm in the chaos? Be that voice of compassion for yourself. And if you need a little more proof that worry lies, look back at the last thing you've obsessed over. And this is a big one. Look back at it and ask, how did it turn out? How much time and energy did worry steal from you that you're never going to get back? And looking back at my non-existent brain tumor, that's going to be what I always look back on anytime I worry. Number four, move your body. Movement is medicine for a worried mind. So take a brisk walk, stretch, dance in your kitchen, whatever helps shift your energy, because anxiety lives in the body. So get your body moving and shake it out and just let it loose. We all have that song that gets us moving. I have a bunch, but my go-to to get my nervous system really reset is Nicki Minaj's Starships. Not the most appropriate song, but I'll give you a little backstory on it. My girls made up this whole dance to it, the clean version, with their best friends and would dance to it every time it came on. And when I was really into closing my apple rings and would be short on steps and calorie burns for the day, they would put it on at night and we would dance together to it. I have such great memories of us just jumping around doing their silly dance. I forget half of it, but when I put it on and get my body moving, it's just an instant mood shifter and just a great reminder of time I spent with my girls. Number five, limit information overload. Sometimes we fuel our own anxiety by binging news, social media, other people's opinions, or Googling possibilities like I did. So set boundaries around what you consume in a day, especially during sensitive times. The world is an absolute crazy place these days. I had to stop watching the news a few years ago because it was just really depressing me. And it's hard to stay away from it these days with all the policy changes and the market changes. And for all of us with older kids, the significant impact it's having on colleges, the programs they have, the amount of aid that they can give. But if you find yourself watching the news and it's only causing you to stress, then stop watching it. And I'm not saying you have to live in a bubble, but if it's something outside of your control or outside of your circle of influence, then give it up for a while and see how you feel. Or if you really need to be in the know, limit where you're getting your updates from and make sure it's a reliable source. Your friend's Facebook posts may not be the best place. And your mind really needs calm to reset, not more chaos to analyze. And the calmer your mind is, the better you will sleep. And sleep plays such a huge part in your ability to stay calm, healthy, and balanced. Number six, practice daily gratitude. This might sound simple, but it's really powerful. Each night, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, small or big. Gratitude shifts your focus from what could go wrong to what is going right now, and will really help you get better night's sleep. I've shared that I practice gratitude multiple times a day. It's part of my morning routine, and we share one thing we're grateful for when we pray at night, and I do my own gratitude practice in my head once I close my eyes for the night. I also recommend doing this when you're in a bad mood to cheer you up. Russ and I had planned a kids-free beach day on Juneteenth. We both have off, and it's around our anniversary. We have 2 wedding anniversaries. We had a small wedding in a restaurant in New York, and then a bigger church wedding in Ireland. Our June one is our small wedding anniversary, and August is our big one. But I woke up early in the morning in such a bad mood, and I really couldn't even tell you why. I was just a crazy pants. It was probably a mix from all the stress of the medical tests, the girls having to go through finals and work. And I felt really bad for Russ because he didn't get to have the Father's Day he plans because of the weather. And that's the day I got the EEG installed in my head, so we really couldn't go anywhere. So when we got to the beach, I went for a walk. I ended up walking a mile, and I kept walking until I knew I could go back to him in a better mood. And the entire time I was walking, I was saying things I was grateful for. And I may or may not have been talking to myself out loud. So if you saw me on the beach, you might have thought I was this crazy lady. But I literally went through each of my kids in my head and listed what I'm grateful for about each one. Then I went to Russ, our marriage, then myself, our life. And it worked. I snapped out of it, and we really had a great date day. Number 7, talk to someone you trust. Anxiety thrives in isolation. So talk it out with someone that's safe, a friend, a coach, a therapist. Sometimes naming the fear out loud can take away its sting. And I'll tell you, I've been talking to a couple of my friends about what's been going on with me, and each one of them has shared a similar experience that they went through. And it's crazy because no one talks about it when it comes to anxiety and any sort of mental health issues. There's such a stigma around it. And I know when the doctor mentioned anxiety to me, I was like, no way, I'm not an anxious person. I have a solid self-care routine. I prioritize my health. Rest, I could be better at, but I just have a hard time sitting still and slowing down. But I'm learning so much about anxiety. It can lay there in your subconscious and pop up out of nowhere, even when you don't feel stressed and you're having the best day of your life. We really need to normalize these conversations, especially with moms, because we take on so much, and not just physically and tactically, but emotionally too. So much love, light, and hugs out to you mamas, because sometimes that's what we really need. Someone who understands and is there to support us. And when I started talking about all the things that could possibly be going on in my brain, my friends talked me off that mental ledge. So find your people, talk to someone you trust. If you don't have someone, please reach out to me. I promise you, I am there to support all moms going through whatever you're going through. So I'm just a DM away. Number 8, breathe intentionally. Have you ever stopped to really be intentional about your breathing? Like really stopped and focused on your breath? I want you to try it right now if you can. Well, not if you're driving or out walking, but if you're home, just close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath and feel the air entering your nose or your mouth. Picture it filling up your lungs and expanding your chest. And if you can go deeper, expanding your belly, and then exhale. And as you're exhaling, picture the air leaving your body, your lungs, your chest going down, your belly getting smaller. There are just so many different breathing techniques you can try. Yoga with Adrienne, she has a whole series called Breath or Breathe. It's one of those things, but same concept, where she incorporates breath work with her yoga. I highly recommend it. But an easy one to try is just inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, and then exhale for 6. And then do that 3 to 5 times. Slow breathing tells your nervous system that you're okay. And it's one of the fastest ways to stop the worry cycle in its tracks. Number 9, strengthen your faith and trust the bigger plan. If I'm being totally honest, this one, it's actually my number 1, because through all of the chaos, the medical scares, the spiraling thoughts, what grounded me the most was my faith. Now, I didn't always lead with faith. My journey started about 6 years ago. It began with Reiki and meditation, and then it slowly led me towards something so much deeper. I joined a Christian-based podcasting course that required a commitment to daily prayer. And that's really what cracked me wide open. Since then, God has become the center of my everyday. I pray every single morning. I talk to him throughout the day, sometimes out loud, and especially through all of the unknowns in the past few weeks. I leaned into him harder than ever. And even when I didn't know what the outcome would be, when I was eagerly awaiting those test results, I had this deep-rooted faith that no matter what, he would walk me through it. I also asked my angels for signs. Yes, I totally believe in signs, and if you're open to them, they will show up. Some were subtle, but some were like billboard obvious. So if faith feels distant or unfamiliar to you, just start small. Maybe it's a moment of silence. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe it's a guided meditation to open your heart to something bigger than yourself. God meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. And if you're feeling pulled to reconnect with your faith or to just start, that pull isn't random. It's a breadcrumb. So follow it and see where it leads, because trusting in something greater than yourself, it doesn't take the worry away, but it gives you something steady to hold on to when the storm of anxiety rolls in. And side note, I got a message that results were posted on a Friday, and I knew my doctor's office was closed until Monday, and we had plans for a city day for Kaylee's birthday on Saturday, and then Father's Day was that Sunday. And with the chance of the results saying something was bad and that our world was about to change, I wanted just one more weekend to enjoy my family before it, which, another side note, they really should not post results on your chart before your doctor has a chance to go over them with you. And had I checked, I would have seen that everything came back normal in those tests and probably would have been able to breathe easier that weekend and through the whole EEG test process. But I didn't. But through it all, I did have faith, and we ended up having a great weekend and got through all the testing, and now just waiting on the last results. And last but not least, number 10, create a peace plan, because you deserve one. When worry and anxiety shows up, it can feel like chaos took the wheel. But what if you had a go-to plan ready in place for those moments when worry tries to hijack your peace? This is where your peace plan comes in. This is your personal cheat sheet for what you do when anxiety kicks in. So you don't have to think about it in the moment. You just follow it like a recipe for calm. And here's how to make one. Grab a journal or a note on your phone and create 3 simple sections. The first prompt is, when I feel worry creeping in, I will, and then you fill in the blank. Some examples are use the 3-3-3 rule, take a walk, text a friend, turn on your favorite song and dance in your kitchen. Re-listen to this podcast episode. Listening to this episode is on my list. And yes, I sometimes do listen to my own podcast. I give good advice, and sometimes I just need to hear myself say it to kick my butt into gear. The second prompt is truths I want to remember. And this is, for example, that I've survived even the hard days. God is in control even when I'm not. This is where you can list one of the things that you worried about in the past that turned into nothing. And the last prompt is things that help me feel grounded and calm. And this might be prayer, deep breathing, movement, journaling, limiting social media, cuddling with your kids, or just simply stepping outside. It doesn't have to be long and it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to be real, something that you can come back to again and again when anxiety tries to rewrite your story. Because when life gets loud, it really helps to have your own voice on paper, or in my case, on a podcast. And honestly, you can do a recording of yourself. Record yourself when you're calm, talking through all these prompts, and listen to that as part of your peace plan. Because your own voice, it will remind you that you've got tools, you've got truth, and a whole lot of strength already inside you. And you don't have to wait until you're unraveling to put this into place. Do it now when your life is nice and calm. Prep your peace before the panic, because you're worthy of peace. And you're worthy of rest. You are not your worries. You are not your anxious thoughts. You're a grounded, capable, resilient woman who's learning to trust her own voice. So the next time worry tries to take over, I want you to take that deep breath and remind yourself, I am safe. I am present. I am enough. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I know it was a longer episode, but I kind of poured my heart out to you. And if this episode spoke to your heart, share it with a fellow mama who might need that reminder too. And don't forget to follow the show. If you haven't given me a rating or review yet, I would be so blessed if you would, because it helps other mamas just like you find the show. Keep breathing, keep growing, and keep trusting that everything you need is already within you. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.